Right, guys, welcome back to Talk Up. We have no idea what episode it is, but we are joined by JB, i.e. John Bagley, all the way from...
Shropshire.
I knew it was up north. This episode has been brought to you by Weeha. Thank you guys again for sponsoring the show, and the hat and the hoodie I'm actually sat on, but it didn't go with the outfit. Sorry, guys. But for you guys who don't know, Weeha do absolutely everything you will need as an electrician, from our Electricians hammer to probably one of the best torque driver sets in the market. They now got tool bags, absolutely everything in the middle, isn't they? So they are at Ali Pali. If this comes out after Ali Pali, I hope you've seen them. If it comes out before Ali Pali, go and see them. And they're also going to be at Coventry, I think, as well, as far as the Elex trade shows. So guys, if you don't know, find out, check them out, and thank you again, Weeha. Now, JB, first of all, before we get into your journey and some awesome topics we got today, I want to say a massive thank you from us and the guys here at Navitas. So if a lot of you guys don't know, he's been here 3 times to film this podcast. First time, massive technical fault. Second time, we had, I call it sun issues, glaring on the camera. Third time, however, the Navitas building is almost done, just needs some decorating, and it wouldn't have been nowhere near as safe, that's for sure, without Mr. Bagley, who sorted out all our intercom systems, our door entry systems, and everything else. And so I have a massive thank you from all of us there.
Thank you.
You didn't need to do that, and been epic as well. Oh, and the CCTV, forgot that as well. So yeah, you cannot break into Navitas, and it's all because of JB.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a technical manager today. So
You've got a technical. You're a technical manager today.
Manager.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, support.
No, I hope it's free.
Yeah. Well, no, like I say, the past 2 podcasts you've done here that you've had issues. So now as a bit of insurance, we've got Jimbo.
That's it. Yeah, I can't be left to my own devices.
Yeah.
All goes wrong without Jimbo.
Yeah, I don't do anything to do with setting up. I haven't got a Scooby.
No. But no, it really is a pleasure to be here again. See you, Will.
I appreciate that.
And Jimbo, of course.
You, John, as well.
So I want to touch. You just touched on it there, right? So for those of you guys don't know, don't follow him on socials. I suggest you do. But one of the most interesting stories I've had, and anyone who knows John, right, will say the same thing. Apart from absolutely lovely bloke, travels everywhere for work, literally everywhere, and does so in an EV car.
Yes.
Which I find absolutely mind-blowing, because my reps won't take an EV car because they're scared of running out of battery. But John will happily travel the length and breadth of the country doing every form of electrical install in an EV estate.
And even better, none of the journeys are ever planned. Where most people get like, what route am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going to stop for fuel? Where am I going to stop for breakfast? I don't even plan it. I just look at that. I just look at the apps where all the charging stations are. I look at what my range is. I know what I'm doing. So I thought, we'll stop there, and that's it. That's probably about 2 minutes of planning, and that's it. I do a flask in the morning, off I go. Obviously, common sense, the amount of mileage I've got behind me, so I've got a lot of experience. But with the EVs now, with the vast change in the public infrastructure now, that's getting a lot better, and generally the services on motorways now have got a lot better with the charging side of it. But obviously there's times and places like summertime and school holidays pose a problem when a lot more people tend to be on the road, and that causes a challenge.
Yeah.
But technically what I do, there is a bit of planning behind it. I'll tell lies, is that on a journey, if I'm making a journey, say 150 miles, which is a normal between 100 and 150 miles a day, plus up to 500 miles a day is well easy. Let's say I'm going to London, before I even get to... I'm leaving at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, depends on the distance because of the traffic. I tend to look at it, I get there an hour before I have to be on site, or I'll go and charge the car up first, because it's that thing, you never know what time you might be finishing, so then I haven't got to worry about charging, I haven't got to worry about queuing or anything like that. I know I've got enough charge to get me.
Doesn't it miles. Like that, because isn't it range anxiety, is that what they call it?
It doesn't exist. It's only people...
I know people that have bought Teslas and chopped them back in for a diesel motor because they can't cope with the fact that as it starts reducing down, they don't know whether if the next service station either has an EV charger, or if they do, whether it will be free for them to use. Because I had the same car you've got, I had as a courtesy car.
Yeah.
And I had to do a journey, I think it was only from Exeter, Devon. It was Devon way anyway, which isn't a million miles from South Wales, right? And I had to charge it, when I left that service station down there, I had to charge it there. And then it had an issue with the charge. So it was plugged in, I picked it up, had some food, come back to it. It was an error with it, didn't work. Then I had to sit there for another 40 minutes while it worked.
Yeah.
And then I got as far as Gordano. And then I was looking at it and it's saying the mileage on it, how many miles I had left. And I knew how many miles it was to my front door. And I was about 20 shy. So I had to stop again. I get there, there's 2 EV chargers. One's out of order. The other one's being done by a van. I knock on the door. I said, look, how long you got? He said, I got 23%. I said, how long are you staying for? He said, until I get to 80. Jesus. So now I need to have to wait for him. I then plug in and then I have to wait for mine to charge. And after, absolutely, honest to God, at that moment, I decided I will never, ever own one of these.
Right. This is what spurred me on now. So in the next couple of months, I'm going to be hitting socials purely on my EV experience, my journey. I don't mean from buying the car and how it is and running the car, because it's just an EV. They're all the same pretty much. It's a battery and motor and that's it. But it's what I'm up against, what happens. I mean, don't forget, if you go into a petrol station, it takes 2 or 3 times types of payment, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can either do it on a fuel card, you can do it on your contactless, you know, or if you're over £100, you put your card and put your PIN number in, or cash. Bang. Yeah. You do not get them chances with an EV charger. It's
all on the app, isn't it?
You either do the app
or a contactless thing.
Or contactless, yeah. And that's if the unit's working. And then you've got all the technical side where if the charger talks to the car.
See,
you know, there's so many...
You're younger than me, right? Onto your tech and everything else. Don't I just sound like an absolute ball ache?
I'm just thinking when you're saying, like, if you're doing that much travelling, why not a diesel?
Yeah, yeah. But you got to look at this, right? I'm not always travelling on the motorway doing the CCS charging. I'm not stopping at charging up. So most of my journeys when I'm local, I charge up at home. So therefore, I charge up off peak power. So from 10, 11 o'clock at night, after about 12 o'clock, I get 7 pence a kilowatt. So straight away, I can go and do 100, 150 miles in a day on the battery range without stopping to charge, and that's cost me a £5. And that's where EVs charge. So if your whole life, if you're not on the road and you're local and you're working within a 30-mile radius of your house, and you're thinking, and a cheap EV van comes up or something like that, and you think, you know what, I could run that. I haven't got to run down to London. I'm not going up to Scotland. I'm not going to here. That's where EVs work well. Anybody who's making short distances, loads of short distances, probably 100 miles in a day, EVs will tick that all the time. But somebody who like Jay, who's out on the road today and he's travelling around the country, or delivery drivers, when I say delivery drivers, people who are like third party who run all over the country, you know, go from London to Scotland and stuff like that, it won't work for them because you spend more time to charge. Yeah. But if you know your driving habits of like A to B, I'll start work at this time, I finish work at that time.
Yeah, so that commuter mileage.
That's mileage, that's
how many miles do you do a day? Because yours varies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does vary. Like, obviously I got a caddy, and I usually, if I'm working with South Wales Maintenance, I use their vans anyway. So I'll drive 10 minutes, and then I'm jumping in their van.
Yeah. So yours is just a commuter vehicle, really, isn't it, to work?
Yeah. Obviously, I do the odd jobs myself and all, and then I'm travelling, but I never travelled out an hour. Very rarely.
Yeah. So you're within a 40-mile radius, really, aren't you?
Easy. Obviously, we do the odd, like if I go to the show or something, there's the odd day. Yeah. But it's very rare that I'm going more than 2.5 hours.
I mean, I try and not educate, but try and sort of like see, because like yesterday we were up in Manchester. I've got ladders on. It was cold. The worst killer for EVs really is battery chemistry. Is the cold, and we all know that through any any battery device in the cold will not operate as efficiently as one in a normal sort of like 15, 25 degree atmosphere. And EV is the same. The battery's underneath. It's cold. It's sitting there all night. Yeah, it might be charged up.
Well, what's put me off EV, because I've been looking at new vans, or tempted.
You're going to sign right this one?
No, I'm not signing right any. Is the lifetime of battery?
No.
That's what, like, I've got in my head, I'll never buy an EV charger just because the price reduction. Yeah. I just don't think it's worth it. But
you mean the depreciation on the car? Yeah.
Right.
But that's massive.
Like, it is.
Because did you know Porsche, right? They're a bit different to a van, but like the chap next door to you,
he's got a Taycan or something.
We got the 2 units here, and then they're the guys that do all like camper revan.
Matthew.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, he does all the VW camper revan. Yeah. Now, him and his missus have got matching Porsche EV Taycan things, right? Did you know Porsche will not let you part exchange an electric vehicle for anything other than another electric vehicle because of the appreciation of them is so high? Yeah. So you can't, let's say I've had enough of this one, I'll chop it in against a petrol version, they won't let you do it.
But don't Porsche also pick you as a customer, and they're very fussy on what type of car they sell certain customers?
Based on a lot of the Porsche drivers I've seen, I don't think so.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, because if you've got, I think it's like a Porsche
Did Hollister try that?
Yeah.
Do you remember Hollister? I think they've gone bust now.
Yeah.
Hollister, they wouldn't let you in the shop if you were too ugly or something like that. That was a rumour.
Really?
That's me down then, isn't it? That's me out the door then. No, I think it's certain very rare models in the Porsche.
I know Ferrari. Is it Ferrari or Lamborghini? You get vetted.
Yeah.
Before you can buy a new one.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, no,
because they don't want. Like, there's certain people they will not allow to buy a Ferrari because they don't want them associated with that brand.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I've got quite a high-end customer up north who do have a lot of Ferraris. And, you know, in the early days when people were just coming in kicking tyres, can I test drive that? And they were quite amicable to help them. But now they've got strict policies now.
Because kicking the tyres?
Yeah, people coming in. I mean, they get that all the time. But, I mean, they do really well at the end of the day.
Ferrari, I don't think they're struggling.
What's the reason? What's the criteria then?
Believe it or not, I don't know.
I think having about £100 million in the bank and sort of that, you know.
Oh, they won't just okay.
Yeah, it's no new.
Put it this way, mate. I'm struggling to fund my A5. Right? I look, mate. The car tax on my A5. Well, that's another thing on EV. My car tax came through. Right, I about went berserk. Right, £600 to tax my car for a year.
So what?
What the actual flying 600? And here's the best bit. I did not know. So they sent me a letter. Who sends letters these days apart from the government? Right? Everyone else sends a freaking email. So I opened the letter and I'm like, okay, well, I've got to the 31st of January. Well, I'll be paying that on the 31st of January then. I was fuming, £600. But it's okay, I can split over 6 months. It's £330 a month. No, all right, fine, cool.
Is there like a percentage on that as well if you split it?
Yeah. So it's £330 for 6 months or £600 for each. So they will charge you more. And I was like, oh, brilliant, okay. So I wait till the 31st of January. In between the 14th, when I get the letter and the 31st, I obviously lose the letter, right? Because that's what I do. Now, I go on, you now cannot tax, right? You cannot tax your car without the letter or your V5 document. Well, if I could find that fucking V5 document.
Because it's that 16-digit number.
Yeah. So I cannot now find my V5 document. Anywhere. So I thought it must be in the office. Anyway, it's the 31st. I'm in there like, it's got to be in here. It's got to be in here. Da. Cannot find it anywhere. So now I'm like, shit. So I go on the DVLA website. I go on, you can buy a V5 document. Oh, but at the same time, you can tax your car. All right, so if I order a V5, so now it's £625. So I've just been done for £625 to tax, right, my A5. Now I know the car I've got isn't the standard A5, but £600, and it does about 17 miles to the gallon.
So what's your car going to cost you now after the 1st of April? Because a lot of them doubling. Is it like after 20?
It's a 21 plate.
So they're saying like all vehicles after 2017 will subject to higher rates of tax.
Why is that? Well,
that's why it's jumped to 600, surely, because it was 500.
Yeah. I think your van will go up slightly because it's a pre-2017, is it?
16 plate.
16, yeah. So, I mean, straight away, it always says that. And EVs are vehicles on the road, and they should be paying tax. We know that all the tax money that goes into the system doesn't go to the road or any facilities.
Yeah. I mean, tax is one thing, but I mean, it's a hot topic in a minute. But I know, like my reps, they've all opted for a hybrid, plug-in hybrid.
That's gone up massive.
That was 3 or 4% P111D, and now it's 11, depending on the car. I think Mark's is like 11 or 12, and Connor's is 11. The other guys, and it does depend on the car, but like, so the Con's getting a Golf GTE delivered today, and I can't wait to see it because they're plugging it. But again, the running costs on that should be less, you'd think. Yeah. And I am tempted, but at the end of the day, the road tax on it's like £25.
If your tax went up on your vehicle as a company vehicle, or however you got it through the company.
Yeah, my car's not. Mine's just mine.
It's your own, yeah. So would
I don't do the miles anymore. So
so it's just a private car then to you, isn't it? You just use it for commuting. Yeah.
Saying that, Jay, here's a story for everyone to talk up. Right. So Jay, who we all know and love, right?
Missing him.
Who drives his A1. Yeah. Refused to get rid of it. Loves it. Managed to drive it straight into the back of an ex-police officer the other day.
Oh no!
Who was at a standstill at a roundabout, and had a tailgate on their car, and has absolutely smashed the front end into pieces.
So what's happened to the car now?
Well, we got himself a new number plate from Halfords, and then
still on the road then?
Oh yeah, with an impact driver and some other tools we got lying around. some cable ties and stuff. So, yeah.
This A1 hold together.
Yeah. It's stuck together.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just completely off topic.
So was the guy in the police? Retired police.
The lady.
Lady. Was she okay? Was she?
Yeah, she was fine.
When she fine with Jay?
Yeah, I think she'd done the whole. Oh my neck. Oh. But
Just speaks insurance.
Now
That's
on
it,
the topic of like vans and stuff, this is always a question I find. What is the best option for someone either going out on their own or whatever with a van situation? Buying, like leasing, buying new part.
I think it depends on your turnover, like because it depends how you want to run it. From my limited understanding of how to run the accounts of a business, right? If you own a car and you bought it through the company or whatever, it technically goes down as a depreciating asset on your balance sheet, which you eventually pay tax on. Okay. If you lease a car, it's a cost to the business, so it's like an invoice. So anything else, which is tax deductible.
Yeah.
So, not saying it's a free car, but it's essentially you're writing it off against your tax bill at the end of the year. But if you buy a car, so we bought the van for this place, and it, 30 grand van, whatever it is, but that goes on.
You can claim so much as that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But like that still goes on as an asset. So when you've got all like your hardware, like
I'm thinking more of like a sole trade, like myself.
Yeah.
Somebody new into the industry.
New into the industry, just going out on your own. What is the best option? So I've always been not scared to lease, but reluctant to lease because it's quite like
the only difference between leasing, in my opinion, right, between leasing and buying. See, it depends on the mileage and how long you want to keep that vehicle, because it's all about investment and ROI. If you can spend £5,000 on a van, and you're going to pay that back, let's say you get a loan for £5,000, okay, and split it over 3 years, it's going to be next to nothing, right? You're going to be able to put that into your cost quite easily and pull that back. And it's not a huge outlay, and if shit goes sideways, you'll be able to get rid of it and probably claw the money back.
It becomes an asset in a way,
Yeah.
So the downside to that, though, is maintenance costs. You're more than like, with our van, it's going to be an older van.
Sure, but you're going to be able to, every time, again, and this is more of a tax-related situation, every time you drive from point A to point B, it's 45 pence a mile for the first 10,000 miles that you can claim against your tax.
Yeah.
That's supposed to offset the running costs of your vehicle. So if that is exceeding your loan for a £5,000 vehicle, essentially, your car becomes tax-free because those earnings to the value of that become tax-free. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But the risk of a second-hand vehicle, you never know what can go wrong with it.
100%.
And then if it breaks down,
it's
you lose.
about whether you want an incurring cost.
That could be an old or new car, a vehicle that can happen.
Yeah, but what Jay's saying, and I agree with him, if it's a lease, that's not a problem you have. Yeah, because a lease will come maintained. It comes under warranty.
It comes with everything.
I had an issue when I was working at the last place.
People who are leasing and going out on they're stuck with our leasing term.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, and that's basically what I'm getting at. It's like, what is the best? I don't think there is a direct.
It depends on what you. Let's say it goes wrong, because that's what puts everyone off when they're starting out on their own. Yeah. Let's say this shit doesn't work out. Oh crap! I'm stuck with a lease. It could be £300-400-500 on a van. Okay, but would you have a car? So have you got a car and a van? Because if I was going out on my own, the first thing I would do, and I had a car, I would chop it in against a van.
Mm-hmm. Right? That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. And then I've basically just replaced my personal car. If you don't have a car or don't have a van, then it doesn't really make a difference, providing that you can get back into work straight away. Because it'd be no different to buying a car on finance.
So do you think it would be okay? So if you really wanted a lease, do you think it's better going limited? So if all shit is the fan, you can just...
You can walk away from it. You've got less liability.
You can't quite walk away.
There's always responsibility to it.
But yes is the answer.
For someone like me who's been in the trade a hell of a long time, which we'll come to that shortly, I started off small vans, small Fords, small Fiestas and stuff like that. Yeah. So it depends on how they're coming into the trade. We're going to say they've worked for a company, got the experience, they've got the qualifications. Decide, you know what, I think I've got enough contacts out there for me to go out there and start my own. So things are going to be quiet. So I think really the biggest asset really they're going to buy is that vehicle. And I do think what you've got, something like you've got, a small van, $3,000 to $5,000. Yeah, it's a big outlay, so getting the loan to buy that vehicle, because it's going to, that sort of vehicle, it's going to be close to something like between 7 and 10 years old.
The other thing as well with leases, I think people mistake like a PCP agreement with a lease. 9 out of 10 lease agreements you can send back. There'll be a penalty, but you can send it back. So like we've leased company cars before, like I said, last place in here at Navitas, even when that member of staff then hasn't worked out. And there's no one else to take that car on. We don't want to keep absorbing that. So you end up paying like a 3-month penalty.
I was going to say, do you have to pay
Yeah, you pay a 3-month penalty, but you might only be 6-8 months into the lease of a full, and you just bid it back.
I've always understood it as leasing. You're basically renting a car.
Yeah.
It's exactly
it's what it is.
Maintenance free.
Yeah, it's a long-term lease.
But there's not just maintenance. It's like, so normally, like our leases. Shout out to Paul Bennett at Four Wheels. They'll have tyres covered. It will include car tax, road tax. Do you know what I mean? Any form of maintenance. I mean, because the new cars don't need MOTs anyway, but the servicing, so if you're doing a lot of miles, servicing, all that's covered, right? But that's usually included, like you say, it's covered. It's not free. It's usually built into the price, right? Yeah. But if you PCP a car, right, that's completely different, and you get absolutely hammered. And you're talking 12.9% APR on them, and you are essentially, you pay a deposit, you're renting it, and that's what you do on second-hand vehicles. When we started this business, a bit like you were saying, I didn't know if it was going to work. Okay, there's always that apprehension. Is it going to work? You know, you're fairly confident, otherwise you wouldn't do it, but it might not. And I'd had company cars for over 10 years. I was like, well, okay. So what I did is I bought that Audi. I bought it on a personal loan. I had some money saved, so I put that down against it, which was about 4 or 5 grand on the car. And then I got a loan for the rest, because at the time I was doing 40,000 miles a year at last place. And we thought we were going to kind of replicate the same model here. We haven't, so I've overpaid for a car I don't bloody need, but that's a whole different story. But because I took a personal loan, I own that car. I own it, right? So if this doesn't work, I want to chop my car, I can just sell it. You can't do that with a PCP, and you obviously can't. I can chop it in against something else. Yeah. And if it all went tits up, essentially, as long as that car's worth more than the loan, which it is, you're not buying, and that's the same with a van, isn't it?
If you use your vehicle for business related, do you then charge the mileage you do?
You charge it back to the
business, because basically you're doing business mileage.
So again, every mile I do for work gets charged back to the business at 45 pence a mile, which is supposed to cover the wear and tear and the petrol.
I'll take it that you've got your car covered for work as well, not just going for
it's an insurance policy.
Yeah, it's a little story there. If we can interject there, I was working on a site a few years ago up north. There was a chap who got an Astra Mark 5 estate, 1.7. They're very common on the roads. You don't see many of them now. And he was painting and decorate, real nice guy. And he popped out we were doing a job together. I was just on site and seen him. And he says, "Oh, are you going to be here?" "Yeah, no problem. Just got to pop out to the wholesalers, wherever they get the paint from." And he popped out, and he was like gone for a couple of hours, come back. He says, "I've just been stopped by the police." And he had to get the taxi back. So lucky I took his stuff home for him. But what happened is
invalid insurance policy.
Yeah, so he only got domestic travel to work and back, and he was using his vehicle during the day for work business because he got ladders on, and he got paint on it. And when the police were following him, stopped him, done a P&C on it, and just said, "Wait, hang on, what are you?" Because he said, "I've just been to the wholesale." If he says he was just going home from the market, he would have got away with it. Yeah. Because he could have said, "I've just taken my stuff to site." He would have been covered by that social domestic.
Say that though, right? Let's say he's on site, right, and someone crashed into him and claims it.
He's not insured.
He's not insured.
No.
And look, I used to work for a company called Ensley Insurance in Cheltenham, who did car insurance, and we didn't do a commercial policy, so we didn't do cover work at all. So depending on if you had an estate car and you were a tradie, we wouldn't insure you, because common knowledge would say is there is a high probability they'll be using that car for work at some point. In any and you only have to do it once, and it voids your insurance policy. Yeah. So we had.
There's a lot of people out there that don't realise they're not insured,
and it's quite a lot cheaper. To not claim business insurance as well. Yeah. But you can't do that with vans anyhow.
No.
But we got fleet insurance here anyway, so it's not an issue. So to go back to your question about what van choice, it obviously depends on your personal circumstances, because if you don't have a big deposit value anyway.
I think from what you say, I think with the risk, I think it's just better going with buying a cheaper one to get yourself going, a bit of money behind you, and then
you can always use it as a if you once you're established after a year or so, you can use that van, even if it might be worth 50 quid at the end of it, as something you don't lose it. You either sell it on or you put it in.
It's quite interesting because, like I say, it depends on how your company grows and how big you get, and then how many operatives you take on eventually, and how many vans you take on board.
But you know what's crazy? Do you know what's absolutely crazy? Like, let's say you're going to scale a business. It's very different if you set up on your own and you want to become like a one-man band contractor, and no real aspirations of becoming a 15-man, massive entity type thing. Just want to keep it small, maybe you and a mate or whatever.
Yeah.
Ends up. If you want to take on larger jobs, or like say, if you want to go out on your own and become your own commercial like company, you need massive credit limits. The easiest way to get a better credit limit is borrow loads of money.
It's daft, isn't it?
Absolutely ridiculous. So if for example, you're in a situation where you need credit, then put as much on credit as you can affordably do. Affordably, that makes sense, that you can write off, pay back every month, and it will, within 12 months, the massive, like, first thing you do is get a company credit card, take your vans on lease, take even your hardwares on
That's
lease,
how your credit
take out
score's
mobile
gauged.
phone contracts, all these ridiculous things. And then because you're showing that you're borrowing this money, essentially, and you're paying it back on time, your credit score goes up and up and up.
That's
and
what I'm saying. Your credit history is based on your borrowing.
Yeah, and then you file your annual accounts with all this zero asset, essentially, but all this borrowing history plus turnover. And they're like, yeah, you can have whatever you like.
Yeah, so
Absolutely
you can have like, you can be Mr. Smith who's paid his bills on time, he's got put money aside, I've got £300,000 aside and all this, I've got nothing on loans and everything's paid off, and have zero credit history.
Yeah.
You know, couldn't borrow anything, do anything like that.
Yeah. I had a friend who's 40, let's go back a few years now, about 45, 46, he used to play basketball with him back in the day. And he never had a credit card. Everything was on a debit card. He either paid for it on his debit card or with cash. And he was about in his mid-40s. And he was looking to buy a house. Could not get a mortgage. And he was on good money, couldn't get a mortgage.
Exactly.
He had no credit score. He'd never borrowed money.
I went through this when I first bought my house. I used to pay. I used to have like, I always coming from a poorer background and dad not having any money and all this. I always make sure that I put money in the bank. Everything's paid off. I had no credit card, nothing like that. So when I come to have my first mortgage and I bought my first house, 1991, that I couldn't get a mortgage, and it's only I had to go for a broker, and then I had to take out a credit card just to do some sort of and it's like. Balmy.
Yeah, it's
really.
mad.
Yeah.
So,
A little bit, maybe a bit off topic, but I'm sure people resonate with it. I got my tax bill coming up now. It's April and with sole traders and stuff like that.
we all have.
Yeah.
I thought it was the end of January. I just paid mine.
I redo mine, sorry, in April when I submit everything. I haven't bought hardly anything against my business this year.
Okay.
A business, you know what I mean? Like myself. So I know I'm going to have a
Hell of a tax bill.
well, not hell of a massive.
So you've got nothing to offset against your tax.
Basically.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Because I understand the concept. Someone would say, go and buy a van. Yeah, all right. I save basically 20% on that van, what we just talked about. But I still got to pay for that van, or do I just pay that tax bill? Like what's the best?
You don't say 20%, but so you pay your tax based on your residue income, right? So your profit.
So say if I bought a van for 10 grand, say I earned 50 grand, I'd only be paying tax on 40 grand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, you won't be paying tax on 40 grand.
You get 12 and a half.
You got 12 and a half grand, tax free first.
Okay,
yeah.
so,
Then it's different rates of tax. Then you got your NI to come out of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. So the first 12 and a half is free, and then after that, it will kind of work out somewhere near sort of 22% of your remaining balance.
So you,
if you experience what would you do in this situation now, where I am put anything against my business within reason?
I mean, allegedly, right? I would go back over as many trips as you can.
Yeah.
As many trips as you
put the mileage down.
Put your mileage in.
Have you got any fuel receipts? Do you keep your?
I keep every fuel.
Right.
receipt.
That's a material.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. Sorry, I've got basic stuff. I mean, I haven't bought really any materials.
What about clothes?
Bought any clothes to work?
No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Tools?
I mean, the funny thing is, look, I mean,
not really.
I know we all want to try and reduce our tax.
Didn't you have 5 boards off Will not long ago?
Yeah, but we don't pay him for his post.
But I mean, you could still. I mean, there's pros and cons here. You could still raise an invoice for.
The con is, look, we all try and reduce our tax bill.
Yeah.
Okay, because we all begrudgingly give those fuckers our money for when we've worked our arse
And
off.
especially they effing squander it.
But, like, if you're in a situation where you are paying tax, that is a positive reflection on your year. When paying tax becomes an issue is when, like we talked about it off camera, is when you haven't budgeted for the tax bill at the end of the year.
Yeah, so I got the money there. I just feel like it doesn't make sense for me
to spend money to try and save money.
Yeah, but I know as businessmen or people who know more about business, they'll say, what are you doing? Buy something.
Depends what you're buying. Like if you're buying something like a van, your money's going backwards, not forwards. Do you see what I mean? Like is that van going to earn you more money, or is it going to appreciate? No, it's not. It's going to do the same job your existing van's going to do, and it's going to depreciate in value. So next year it's not worth 10 grand. So no, I wouldn't buy a van.
The only thing I can think of buying is a new camera.
Look, personally, the way I look at it at this place is, I don't mind paying tax. No, that's not fair. I do mind paying the level of tax we pay. Right? I don't. That's not fair. I absolutely don't get me started on the national insurance contributions in April, because if I saw that's absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. But I don't mind the concept of paying tax on profit. Right? I think that's a healthy ecosystem. What I wouldn't do. And you do see this a lot of times when people have a big tax bill, all of a sudden they rock up in a new Ranger or this, that, I had a big tax bill, so I did. Well, okay, but like you just said, you're just throwing a bunch of money at the wall then. Just
you've got to pay for that.
So you still got, that's still your money that you said. But what I would look at is, look at some of your tools that might need updating, that are causing you issues. Is there any, you talk about camera equipment, things that, are there things that you can add into your asset sheet essentially that are going to either increase in value or make you more money or save you more time?
Like obviously I'm
Otherwise,
privileged, I get sent quite a lot of tools, so it doesn't make sense for me to go and buy a load of tools. Camera equipment for my media, that makes a bit more sense.
But that's part of your company, isn't it? That's
you
can claim for that.
So if I went out and bought some camera equipment, that kind of does make sense for me because that's going to increase potentially more money for me.
Do you still use an editor for your stuff?
Well, I don't really, not for my
not TikTok,
shorts, and I've uploaded probably 3 videos all last year.
What you could do, because it's also about when the invoices go in, right? They've got to go in your financial year. Yeah. What you could do is, if you let's say you knew you were going to schedule out 10 videos over the next 12 months, right, long form, you could get your videographer to invoice you for those 10 videos now.
Oh, so, I see what you're saying.
So
even if that doesn't mean the money has to transact.
Okay.
So even if that's in invoice, let's say it's £1,000, for example, for 10 videos, that's cheap. But over whatever, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be paid equally over the next 12 months, that's fine. But the invoice gets logged in this financial year. That's £1,000. So that it's things like that. It's about, look, what am I going to be using for the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years? And in my opinion, and everyone has their own way of doing it, I would invest that money in things that are either going to make me more money or save me more time. Otherwise, just pay the tax.
So you've got to think about projecting, like, what I'm going to be doing next year. I'm going to still be self-employed. What it is, I'm not going to be working for somebody. I'm going to quite happy to carry on. So therefore, I think I need to have this. You know, you've got a projective, like, what you want, what certain things, whether you can afford it. It's going to go for the company. But I mean, I do this now. Obviously, the VAT side of it. So like,
that's a whole different bag, though.
Yeah. So like, if because I'm paying that quarterly. So what I tend to do with that is, I tend to sort of, like, if I've done a load of jobs and it's due for invoicing and I'm just coming to the end of my quarter, and I know that I've been a busy quarter, I'll probably take some of them invoicing and put it outside the quarter, so after. So, you know, because you're based on what you're invoicing, how the VAT is. But then I'll try and buy all my materials for any future jobs within the quarter. So then
you offset it.
Yeah, offsetting it. So I'm trying to bring my VAT bill down. Balance it. Yes. So it's like that. So, but obviously, like over Christmas, because we have time off over Christmas. Generally, winter's a quieter time as well with invoicing with big jobs.
So you're spending more than you're.
So I tend to do all my first quarter. So I try and get everything there, and then I'll do my any big invoices I've got due to put out, like several grand. Then I'll do them into the winter invoice if I'm in that area, because it then balances it out a bit.
I know this is probably like quite a boring subject to some people.
No, it's interesting because
but it's very important. Like, people need to understand.
It's massively important.
Like, you've got to pay tax. Like, people who think, oh no, I just won't pay. No, they'll get you. Like,
and I tell you now, there's a big thing. In fact, someone commented on a post I put up from Hackwood's thing on Facebook about how tax is changing massively, and if you earn between over 40, over 50 grand after April 2026, you have to go tax digital.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And that is going to screw a lot of tradespeople up, because they are not financially astute, because we're not, that's what you pay someone else to do.
Are you... Do you do self-assessments?
Yeah.
So because of your threshold,
and obviously you'll have to do it because you're self-employed.
Anyway. It's like I have to do tax digital. I've got an accountant I've had for many years.
Yeah, but you're a limited company as well.
That's another big question that I get asked a lot. Going out on my own, do I go limited? Do I say sole trader?
Do you know what? It doesn't really matter.
Don't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
It costs you more money going limited because you got to pay an accountant every month? I know someone who's gone
I don't
limited.
pay
No,
every
no.
month.
I pay my accountant for my yearly books
Yeah.
and 4 times, and
your
any
VAT,
and any other taxation issues that might arise. Yeah. And if based on my turnover and what I've been doing, my average, I'd say it's about $2,500 a year. What I pay
So
for a great service, really.
But you're not a small turnover situation.
No.
Right? So for your average electrician,
sorry. I'm thinking people just going out on their own. A lot of people are doing
I'm
it
talking
now,
about. Let's say you rewind the clock to how old were you when you went out on your own? 10 minutes ago.
24.
24.
Yeah,
right,
24.
so-
Is that when you started out?
You say
Yeah.
started
Let's
out,
base it on you, James.
Well, no, so
I went to London at 23 or 24.
Is this when you
That's
worked-
when I first went from the books to
Working
sole
for?
trader.
Okay.
Perfect. So I met a chap up in Merth the other day, Coombs Electrical, right? 23 years old, again, been out on his own since July. Similar sort of structure. So it's an age where people are confident. It's probably about right, where a lot of people are looking at it. And again, not to keep harping back, I think with the situation with national insurance in April, I think we've talked about it already. I think you'll see a lot of people end up being on the subby side of things because people will get them off the books, coming back in, and then you've got to sort your own NI out because the amount of extra national insurance employers are going to have to pay come April is eye-watering.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense for a lot, like subbies.
Well, it does, because you can write your own expenses off and you can reduce that, like we just talked about.
If you get a good... Sorry, go on, carry on.
No, so I was saying, as a 23, 24-year-old, okay, going out on your own, getting yourself a little caddy or a customer.
It's only yesterday for you, isn't it?
Right? Do you know what I mean? Something like that. With the way you're going to structure your business, the honest to God truth is, it really doesn't matter if you're going to go limited or sole trader. That money that you're saying about you might spend on an accountant, if they are a half decent accountant, they will save you in tax
But it
anyway.
depends what you do, though, because
That's true.
for what
Depends
I
on the type of
do,
work you
it does not make sense for me to go limited.
No, because you don't buy your own gear.
No, you're not earning enough.
No, it's not
You're
that. He is
turning-
earning enough.
Yeah.
It's because he doesn't buy his own materials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%
and I'm not
agree.
doing every day is not my own job.
No, because predominantly you're a labour only situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if it was half and half, it probably wouldn't still make sense for.
Depends on what that half looks like. If that, do you sort of
I think when you're going out on your own, you're more than likely going to be doing some domestic, and
sure,
you're
because
going to be subbing into other companies, and you're going to be doing a couple of your own jobs.
Well, you're going to be spending about $1,000 a month on materials, aren't you?
I don't think
no, not necessarily.
I
Well,
don't
if you're doing several rewires, by the time you bought several boards and
But if you're
cables,
doing full rewire straight away.
but if you're subcontracting, you're not paying the materials then.
no, but
That's
even
what
on
you're
your
saying,
own
yeah.
job, I
Yeah.
don't think you'd be doing rewire straight away.
No, I agree with you. Your remedial works.
Yeah.
You're doing. Elsie's got a light needs changing. There's a socket fault. There's an EICR here.
Yeah.
You build your way up to those.
Yeah, I agree.
Those you wouldn't have the cash flow straight away to do.
No, those rewires are done for someone else. James got too many on. Well, here, look, I'll pay you extra to do a rewire. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Boom, jobs are good.
Yeah, so I just think it makes sense to be a sole trader if you're going straight out. Obviously, you've got to be careful. Don't buy off more than you can chew in cents, because it's your personal money at the end of the day. Like, you've got nothing to, like you say, going limited. You can jump out of that and like, do you know what I mean?
That's again only if you're borrowing money, right?
Yeah.
So if you and this is the other challenge with the sole trader, so a limited company. If you're going to go into wholesalers and you're going to be looking for credit accounts, they don't want to touch a sole trader half the time because there's nothing to secure it against.
Or just how much they give you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
which is
the
ma-
liability side of it.
which is massively reduced. If you are going to want to grow the business, this that, and the other, start building that relation. If you start off as a limited company, like it is easier to scale it. So like Talk Up is a limited company, right? Just in case one of us says something stupid and we get, that limited liability aspect. Everything allegedly.
Is that a brand of the Navitas?
No, it's not. Absolutely nothing to do with Navitas. Never was. So, Talk Up's always been completely separate. It's because we've got some massive plans for it, to be fair. But with some selective product placement.
Oh, okay. Then does Talk Up charge for advertising?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Not to certain brands.
Yeah. So that creates, obviously you give discount to certain brands, don't you?
Well, yes, because certain brands pay
So
for
that
the
must be a nightmare on the paper. That must be a nightmare on the invoice and paperwork side.
No, because my dad's the FD for
All right.
companies. So, no, all jokes aside. So, the reason did that is because, again, putting on the equipment against it, yada, 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 and because there's a plan there to scale it, which will require credit,
Yeah.
without a shadow of a doubt. Navitas was always obviously had to be a limited company. There's absolutely zero way that works. Two completely different business structures. But if you're comfortable going in, dapping your card, buying 60, 70 quid's worth of gear for your day's work that you're going to coin 250 on, fine. I completely agree with you. It doesn't the actual extra level of work you've got to go to be a limited company for that type of business doesn't make sense.
Because then I guess most your invoicing per week or per month is just based on labour.
Yeah.
Really, there's hardly any materials unless you're doing your own jobs.
My income at the minute is I get maybe 1 or 2 of my own jobs a month.
Yeah.
Very little material, if any. So I pick and choose kind of what jobs I want to do. There would be social media invoicing from advertisements, and then the other is just labour.
And you doing like the subcontracting side, do you find that you tend to steer more to that because it's simpler, because you just turn up, you do the work, come back, you get paid for it, as opposed to doing your own stuff?
That it's more. I love commercial work.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
I'd love to be, if I had my own company or working for myself or whatever, doing commercial. Yeah, but it's so difficult to get into that sector.
Money. It's the money.
And I just hate domestic. Like,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Certain jobs.
But there you go. Without being a knob, right? If you'd registered as a limited company, okay, for your and done everything you're doing, nothing different, you'd be building up a credit point, which would make it easier for you to become a commercial electrician.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But again, you would still have to take on massive risk.
The great thing is with the social side that when you look at all the people out there doing, whether you look at YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, there's a lot of professional companies like myself, Will here, the Bundys, and all of the world. They're all started from somewhere and grown to big companies like Will's Electric and stuff like that. Just names top. Yeah,
I was tempted to make Jimbo Electrician Media to a separate company to my labour.
I would do that.
Does your media company produce earnings?
Yes.
Right, so then you need to register that as a separate company, not part of your electrical.
It's part. I use it as part of my jobs. It's all to do with.
But that's
work.
fine because that's
you can do that as a sole trade.
But that's a sole trade. The great thing about that is the media company then can invoice your electrical company, which is then creates an invoice that creates a taxable.
But let's say, for instance, like
it's micro, but it's
from social media. Say this month I'm taking home $1.5 grand just from social media.
Yeah.
And from wages, labour, I'm taking 2.5.
But that could be $3 grand's worth of invoicing from the media company to your electrical company. That's $3 grand less you're going to be paying on tax because it's an invoice to the electrical company.
I'm sure you can't set both of them up as sole traders separately, though, can you?
No, you can. No. Yeah.
No, it all comes under one.
No, sole trader is you.
Is you?
Yeah. You can set that up as a limited company.
As a limited company. Sorry, notes.
And don't forget, as a limited company, you're allowed to. It used to be $2 grand. It's now only $1,500, but you can claim £1,500 a year as a tax-free dividend as well. Yeah.
So you, as I'm saying, you set your media company as a small limited company or something like that. Then you could just, even like you got to think about like, okay, I've got my little media company. My only turnover 10 grand a year, whatever. Yeah. It depends what you charge that out to the electrical company. It depends where you're creating your content from. Then you got to think about where am I running this company from? Are you using your vehicle? Are you using your house? So
internet,
it's intertwining a lot with.
Yeah, but that's where you got to separate it now.
You can bill it twice.
Yeah,
bill it twice. So if you can basically put towards it, like say your mortgage, a percentage of your mortgage because it's an office.
Same as your electricity bill. You can claim a percentage of that back.
And your phone bill.
Yeah.
And you can now do that for your electrical company and your media company.
Yeah.
Because it's two sets of earnings.
I know we got WhatsApp as a limited company.
That's two of you.
Yeah, I mean, because I work with a lot of people. A lot of my customers own their own properties, but it's not owned through them. It's owned through like joint companies or something like that, or investment companies, because it's all about the liability. If that company went up tits up, that means they can't take the building because it's through another company. Yeah,
you see that a lot with holding companies. And
that's it. Yeah. So even like you says, right, I run my media company from a nice sort of shed in the garden. Not just a shed, a nice sort of shed or something. That's then you could rent that back to the electrical company or your house or something like that. There's so many overheads that you can claim for.
And what you've got to do with any of this situation, and wow, we've never got into a business topic this deep before.
No. But it's interesting.
It is interesting, and it's something that doesn't get taught on your apprenticeship, doesn't get taught at school. And to be truthfully honest, a lot of guys that come through the never get taught it, and they just throw stuff at their accountant and hope for and they don't really get it.
They've gone off what they've been told.
Do you know
exactly? Or what they've heard on site from the guys, it's just one of them. But if you get this stuff right, not only can you save a lot of money, you can make a lot more money and turn money into more money. and get guys off the tools before their knees go shot.
So, Will, are you going to start a workshop on this?
I could sell a business course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if this...
Oh, what a thickhead comment. I'm so sorry.
So, if this was taught at a lower level... that stripped him.
Oh.
Yeah. If this was taught at a lower level, like school, college, do you think we'd see a lot more entrepreneurs in this country?
God, you're on deep there. I think there's a lot of shit that you can get rid of at schools and replace it with real life education.
Yeah,
Totally
we know that.
so
We know that.
With the greatest respect, like I mean,
Yeah.
it is a lot of stuff. Like I said, I got one 18-year-old. Well, she's 18 by the time this comes out. She's 18. One who's now working full time. One 12-year-old and one 2-year-old. Right? It's like having 3 only children. Love them all, but it can get tough. And I'm telling you now. What Zed would come back with from school that they were doing, I think, when the firing are you ever going to use it? And I'm not talking about algebra and shit like that, because I people say, oh, I've still never used this, the square
stuff I learned at school I never used.
But it's but what when you do those sorts of maths equations, it teaches you problem solving.
Yeah.
Whether you remember how to do that or not, it wires your brain in a particular way. Fine, and to be a decent electrician, numbers are pretty key. But. And again, I'm not going to be specific about the topic. Some of it is absolute, utter woke nonsense garbage. Why don't they take kids out and teach them things like every one of them will pay tax at some point? Death and taxes are the only thing that are guaranteed in this country, right? You pay taxes. Teach them how to budget an income. Teach them how hourly wages work and how much of that they're going to lose. When they see a job advert for 20 grand, you ain't getting 20 grand.
No. Potential.
Credit ratings.
Yeah.
How to get a credit card. How to get a mortgage.
It's like I use a bloody washing machine. And,
life skills. But they used to
How deep are we going with this, Jim?
No, he's not wrong.
Life skills. Let's be honest, a lot of stuff, like the maths, English, is going to lead us on to our next topic, AI.
Yeah.
All this is just going to be...
What a segue, James.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put my hand up here because being the oldest in the room and being born in the 60s, I was brought up pretty much on my own. So I had to develop and learn life skills all the way. Self-sufficient, dressing yourself, cleaning yourself, washing up, cleaning. There was a ritual you had to go through, even like making, preparing food and stuff like that. And they were stored into you, and then you carry that all the way through life.
But I've always been a crap cook. I don't know how to cook. Obviously, we've done the odd cooking lesson in school, but the basics of life and like looking after your body health, that should be what they're teaching you. Especially going into AI now, like maths, English. Let's be honest, who's doing that manually now?
Absolutely. Do you know what? Because I am a bit older than you, and John will definitely. I remember my maths teacher telling me, well, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket. Well, guess what? My iPhone has a fantastic calculator.
Everything. Honestly,
I hope you listen to this, Miss Saeed. You were wrong.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be teaching maths, but I think we should be focusing on so much more life skills in school than this now. It's like I said, especially the way
Look,
the world's
you
going.
hit the nail on the head again on camera, right? There's going to be an awful lot of jobs that were created over the last 15, 20 years that are going to, once this AI becomes more sophisticated and more integrated into day-to-day life, are going to be obsolete. So I did an Apple update on my MacBook yesterday, and now it's trying to write my emails for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even put it in there. It's just built into the computer. So I'll write something and it'll go, well, you could rewrite like this. And I read it and think, yeah, no, that sounds a lot better. Crap. Off you go. And for me, now I'm dyslexic as the day is long. You've read some of my stuff, and some of you guys who read the captions and made jokes, thanks. But if you ever seen some of our earlier catalogues, honest to God, hilarious.
Yeah.
But I didn't have people to vet them. I don't need people to vet it. And you need something like legal advice, financial advice, like we were just talking about. You can go into Chat GPT now, give it a prompt. Listen, how do I do that? And it will give you a way to do it.
This is worrying, because it's potentially for the future. So all these,
a lot of these service-based
companies that provide information and services to you, like the legal services and stuff like that, and solicitors and that. This is worrying really, because now you're going to get, you're going to be paid for it through some subscription, but this is going to underline a lot of businesses now.
Yeah, but is it? It's not necessarily worrying for us as in tradesmen, because this is going to be a perfect opportunity for us to make a lot of money.
GPT is not going to throw in any cable on first fix. It's just not going to do it.
But what it is going to help us is speed up our quoting, because that's what I've been doing at the minute, is using AI to quote.
Yeah.
So I'll give it all the criteria to the job and ask it, write me a job description. And I'm not sure, it'll do it perfectly.
Yeah.
I got to change maybe the odd couple of tiny things.
Is that in Tradify?
They do have that, but a lot of the time I'm using it from actual ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But you can't. So if I'm doing a quick quote on Trader File, just installing a double socket. You just click Smart, right? And it'll just change it for you.
So basically, you use Tradify as a platform, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're using.
I'm using about 3 or 4.
Yeah, 304. Yeah, there's different ones out there, and I use a zero type one and stuff like that. And a lot of my stuff is manual into it, and then it's emailed, and whether you use a headed template and stuff like that. So. But like you say now, you get your phone there. You go, right, I just need to do a quote for Navitas or Will and stuff like this. It's based on this, and you just talk to it, talks back to you, and then bang, it produces this for you. Just proofread it, look at that. Yeah, happy to send that. Send that to Will.
You're 100%. It's going to get rid of so many desk jobs.
Yeah,
which is exactly what generations and schooling, unfortunately, in my opinion, as a macro, is training people for.
Yeah.
Like, where I was going at with the kids' education, they are doing the same shit I did when I was at school, for the most part, with some woke sprinkled on top, which makes absolutely no sense. How on earth, when I was doing my GCSEs 21 years ago, has that not progressed to the point where when they do them now, it's the same?
Yeah.
Like literally the same.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And you're telling me in like 5 years,
how much the world changed
when they
in 2
got to set up
decades?
their classroom, they're not going to go onto ChatGPT, write me a subject, teach my class about whatever.
Mate, I tried that for my English GCSE and got caught for plagiarising because back in the day, and it didn't have ChatGPT then. It was just like, fine, I need an essay on Romeo and Juliet. And it was like, I kid you not, like all jokes aside, I actually had to rewrite that in an entire bloody English over a week in.
So you had to put the effort in.
Yeah, I did. I got C. So which I was quite impressed.
C for trying.
I got C.
But you then progressed for that. Obviously, it's not got focus to you, but you went to university. What did you study at university?
Business management.
Okay, and that's helped you a lot now, obviously.
No. See, a lot of people think, oh, you did business management. I got 5 letters after my name. Yeah. Do you know what? There's the marketing side that I did there gave me a great grounding and understanding.
Yeah.
But then the amount of additional work, it taught me how to learn. It taught me how I learn best, because that's the best thing about uni in comparison to the rest of the education. Because I didn't go straight to uni. I didn't go traditional route to uni, right? Without getting into it. And so I ended up at University of Gloucester, best time of my life. So I met Jay, right? But the way that uni was structured, it was an enterprise uni, so it was structured around business. And at the time, it was the 7th best uni in the country for business. I got there on a basketball scholarship.
Okay.
I didn't get there academically. I got like 160 UCAS points. I couldn't have got in there through clearing. But when I got there, there was like, yes, you did your seminars and your lectures and stuff, but they were structured around trying to create entrepreneurs. They didn't give a shit if you could read or not. Can you understand it? Can you bring your idea? Can you make your ideas work?
Yeah. So they're just trying to unlock the potential.
100%. And then what I realised very quickly is I can't do half of these assignments. My brain doesn't well at that. And Janai couldn't do the other half. Put them two together. That was like boom, and that's exactly what we did. So we did that. So we started doing every joint assignment together, and we were smashing it to the point where there was like, this is for a group of 6, and we tried that once, and the other 4 people aren't working like you. Look, we were going to lectures. Look, I know it's for a 6-person assignment. Can we do it with the 2 of us? They're like, no, the workload's too high. I said, no, don't worry about the workload. We want the grade.
Yeah,
they're going to drag our grade down. I'm not having that. And then we would smash it. We work completely differently. I mean, you know us that. But
that's teamship as well, isn't it?
And then obviously 20 years later, and
here you are.
Yeah. Precise. But what I'm saying is they don't. That's sort of what Jay's saying there. If they taught that type of look, how do you learn? What actually makes you tick? What makes you get out of bed? Because ChatGPT is the base level version of AI. Just think about that for a minute. It is blowing our fucking minds, and it's not even really started.
No.
So you're telling me if you can't physically do something or take an idea and physically create it into something that doesn't already exist, because ChatGPT will give you a version of something that already exists. It can't, although it can think, and at the moment, and that will change, by the way, that will develop and develop and develop, but it can take your version and what you need and know everything else and put the two together and give you an answer or give you a structure or give you a to-do list. But it can't do it for you yet. Like it can do your quote, but it can't install it, right? It can write me a lovely letter, but it doesn't know who to send it to. It doesn't know how to turn that into a sales pitch when I'm standing in front of someone. It can't create a board. It can't design a new 3-phase consumer. It can give you ideas. And
There's no need to take what's already there, pretty much.
Precisely. Yeah. So as human beings in the trades, like Jay's saying, I think it's a huge opportunity For those not, I think the education system, the way we're structured as human beings, at this moment, I think we're in trouble. Like, we developed an algorithm. Me and Jay developed an algorithm for our procurement a few years back, right, to help us, because we were always running out of stock. Right? We still use it now. And it's all to do with having the right combination of RCBOs to go with the right amount of boards. You need a common denominator. So what we realised is obviously you can't mix a Navitas device with another brand's board and vice versa. So if you're buying a board, you're going to be buying our devices. So we ended up creating an algorithm that essentially worked out what's the percentage of each amperage we sold out of our total amount of RCBOs. And then we used the boards, the average monthly demand of our board sales, right, as the centerpiece of the algorithm. So then you work out how many total ways, not boards, how many total ways you're selling a month. So whether it be a 12-way board, 16-way board, whatever, total ways you're selling a month. Now, based on the amount of ways, based on the percentage of the amount of RCBOs, you're going to need these amperages and these quantities for those boards. Right? That took us a little while to figure out and develop, right? We developed all of that. I put that into ChatGPT 6 weeks ago, and it worked it out in fucking seconds.
That took you months.
It took us months, and then took us years to refine it. And Serena spends weeks a month forecasting in this, that, and the other. Once our system integrates with ChatGPT, her job is streamlined to a point it will probably work daily on its own and just give her an update report. She then still has to place the order until that becomes automated. But then there'll be anomalies in there. And that's where the human being comes into it. But all of a sudden, a 2-week part of her job probably becomes a day.
Yeah.
And that's on a company of our scale. So what James is saying is like, you start scaling that out, and AI is a problem.
Let's go back.
But it's also a huge opportunity.
Yeah, let's go back in time, back in history. And then if you go back over 100, 150 years ago, a lot of the jobs and trades and sort of like production places, factories, it was very labour intensive, wasn't it? Labour was very cheap. They were paid poor. So what's happened is automation's come in over the years, machines come in, and that one machine...
That came in a result of inflation on staff.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But evolution over the years, more production machines are coming. We're seeing now, 40, 50 years ago, we started to see more robots come into production.
But where?
Into car manufacturing.
Where?
Yeah.
Because you go to certain countries and people are still the cheaper option than machines.
Yes, yeah. This is what I'm saying now.
So it's an evolution situation. So we've seen it happen in manufacturing. You're going to now start seeing it for the first time in services.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to lead up to now is that with AI potentially now on the peripheral of exploding massively in the future, is that, like I said, my earlier question to yourselves is with the country that's population growing, people settling here, people having families, what is the potential going to be the jobs in the future? Are we just going to be service engineers? Are we going to be service people?
I don't know. What do you think?
As somebody, as a father, and to children growing up in the UK or anywhere in the world, in the developed country, do you worry about the future of your children?
No, not particularly, because as humans we always adapt.
Yeah, we are very adaptable. Yeah,
that's true.
And I know my boy, he's very creative, very artistic. So I'd push him in that kind of direction and whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to be. And my girlfriend's boy, he's very sporty, very athletic. They're two different people, so you push him in that side. So you wouldn't want to say, right, both of you electricians.
Yeah.
Push them where they're going to go, and then who knows what it's going to be like in 20 years, but there'll be a path for every kind of person.
100%.
And like you said, we always adapt. Like you said, the change over the last 150 years, it's been fine. We've adapted.
We're still there. I mean, population's growing. We've come more wealthier over the years.
Well, I think that's gone backwards, but that's a whole different story.
I think if I look past to when I was earning, I was doing far better in the 1990s. My earning potential was a lot more now than it is now. With lower overheads, mortgages were much lower, properties were much lower. I was having a whale of a time, but then it's only been the past 20 plus years.
There'll be stuff which AI is coming out now. It'll create more jobs in something.
I was thinking
there'll
that
be new inventions. There'll be, and then it's.
Have you seen the data center that Elon Musk has had to build for that Gronk AI? Unreal. Now that's going to take some maintenance.
Yeah.
So you're still going to require engines.
That's what I says. Are we all going to become like a service type of industry?
It goes back to what James was saying right at the beginning. I think is like I actually do think it's an exciting time to work with your hands.
Yeah.
Because a computer screen will never be able to replace that. Like,
They don't teach you that at school, do they?
But and the other thing is, as far as making consumer units or installing consumers, this, that, and the other, you take that breaker out, that computer don't work.
No. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the more reliant you become on electric, the more you'll need us.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
And realistically, more money that's coming in, and people want to build more things. They want to have more things, more construction kind of work, maybe.
Yeah. We have
But
come more materialised.
You say
Yeah.
all of that, and there's still a 20 million housing shortage in the UK.
Yeah.
So, like, construction has always been a rigid industry, which goes through its peaks and troughs, like every other industry does. You'll have a bull and a bear market in every.
Let's see, that's another problem, isn't it? Because you can't just keep building and building and building and building.
Someone's got to fund it.
You know, it's got to be funded. Yeah, we can find the people to do it, but then you're talking areas of greenbelt, areas of land, you know, countryside. You know, not in my lifestyle, but you know, in your children's lifestyle, there's going to be like the whole of the South Wales would just be one big mass urban sprawl from Newport right up to.
People say that, right? And I don't know whether, maybe I'm too woke. People say that there is a lot of green. There is a lot.
We only occupy about 10% of the UK.
But I say the UK is not starving for space.
No, it's not.
They'll have you believe that because with house prices the way they are. But the UK is not starving for space. And it is absolutely mad that there's this whole. I think a big problem in the UK, and that's why we're slow to adapt to things, and other countries have exceeded us, is because we like to hang on to this nostalgic thing of the way things were.
We live in the past.
Oh my God, don't we? Yeah. And we love a bit of that. But that's changing with generations. Like your generation is completely different to mine. My generation was a bit of an attitude, middle finger up. Your generation polite for a start, and
we have actually got to, you know, you're in between, and there's two definitely a generation between us.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's just like when you know you guys are thinking about it. It's not when I talk to Serena and my daughter and you, and the way you guys think about things, I'm thinking, Jesus, you make me feel really old. But there's only 10 years between that. There's not a huge difference between the way I am and the generation 10 years older than me. But the generation 10 years younger than me is light years different. So it will change. And it'll be
see, like, I have, 30 years on top of you? Yeah, 32 years. Oh, well, you know, 20. What's up, 32 years, sorry, yeah.
26?
Yeah, 26. He's still quite...
You're 27 this year?
Yeah. July.
Do you?
Big July.
Yeah. And you 36?
37, yeah.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah. 38
so what have you got planned for your 40th, Will?
I'm just trying to make it at this point. Right, guys, that is bringing us to any closing things that we want to touch on before we go. Want to share with the people? We've literally talked at each other about
everything and everything.
I think it was quite an interesting one, actually.
Very different to our normal. We haven't ripped anyone apart. We haven't talked about anyone's products. We haven't.
No, I just want to say that I'm talking about age and generations here. It's actually 40 years this week.
Oh, yeah, you did say.
Yeah, 40 years this week. I've come into the industry. And that's the electrical. That's like,
you know, you'd get less for murder.
You know that, yeah. I'll be out now. I'll be probably better off as well. So that was the communications, data network, audio, visual, and then into the electrical side as well. So I've adapted through the trades over the years to get. But yeah.
So 40. So what's the next 40 look like?
I won't be here. You know, like if I can hang on another 10, 20 years, I'll be happy with that because now to me now it's all about keeping well, keeping happy, keeping fit, really.
Well, what's your retirement plans?
Do you know, there's 10 years left of me yet. I reckon I'm good for a good 10 years, yeah.
So because I can't imagine you're the type of guy who's like, I can't wait to retire.
I will not, no.
You'll be
sorry, that's a great point. Are you worried about that then?
No, because this is how I've worked with so many older people over the years who've retired. They've taken them when they retired at 50, 55, 56. They've had a good payout. That set me up, and then they've gone into their pension. The days when you used to get pension a bit earlier at 65, not 67. They'll be about 70 by the time you retire. And unfortunately, after they retired and done nothing for a couple of years, they died.
Yeah,
quite a few of them died.
So you've seen that. So when I was younger, I seen my grand retire, and the decline over the last 10 years is just massive because he's still trying to do things. He's ill at the minute. He got asbestosis and cancer and all. And he was up on a ladder trying because the electric truck he used to be an electrician. And he's fixing. He fell off and banged the back of his head.
Oh no!
This is a podcast I'd like to talk about eventually. Is people staying in the trade, working late into the trade, still doing this trade in their 60s and 70s? Because in a commercial aspect, you don't only see people nearly 70 turning up to do a job, because then you start worrying about their health side of it. Are they capable of doing the job and stuff like that? And they've got like 40, 50 years experience behind them. But are they up to doing the job?
But I feel like we're all like, when we get to that age, none of us want to stop doing something.
But then you got to talk about this, Will.
100%.
You got to look at this also. I see a lot. There's a lot of people on the social media who get to 36, 40, the knees are gone, the back's gone, they can't do the job anymore. They struggle to get up, into tight spaces in lofts and that.
You listen to my knees when I stand up in a second.
Yeah.
Just
even
batter
mine,
it.
So it's all about.
26 of mine.
But I say you've struggled your knees a little bit recently.
Yeah. It's if you play football.
Yeah.
So if you play football now for the next 10 years hard teams, and then all of a sudden you find that in your 30s, mid-late 30s, that your joints are going.
It's why I stopped playing at 28.
Yeah.
I stopped playing
so
basketball
I used to do a lot of cycling and running and stuff like in my 20s, and then I had an injury, and then I stopped it all because I knew that whatever happens then, that will affect me in the trade, because I won't be able to.
It's interesting retirement, isn't it? And it's not trade specific. I think it's in general, because like I look at it as like one of my mentors, surrogate dad, whatever you want to call him, Pete. I don't know if you've met Pete Williams, right? He always told me. I met him when he was like 58. He always told me, on my 65th birthday, I'll be at home, right, in my dressing gown. I'm done. I was like, and you should have seen him, right? When he was at work, the energy, the way he was, he's proper charismatic.
Yeah.
He was just a shorter Welsh version
like
of
me.
me, really. Like, absolutely loved it, right? And he knew everything about everyone and everything. He was an absolute anorak, an infectious personality. You would struggle to find someone who would say any different, to be truthfully honest. And even on his last day, which was the day before his 65th birthday, I remember him walking into me at the last base, coming in with new ideas. Now, have you thought about doing this and yada, yada, yada. I was like, Pete, what are you doing? This is your last day. Shouldn't you just be sitting there having coffee, taking presents? Oh, no, I just thought it was in my head. And I said to him, mate, you will never be able to switch that off. I guarantee you within 6 months, you are spinning around in circles. And I said, do you know what happened? Complete opposite. He is absolutely at peace. Yeah. And he is absolutely at peace. He squeezed everything out of his every working day he had. Yeah. And when I spoke to him,
is he doing any gardening?
No, he actually bought. So he sold his house, downsized into a lovely apartment in Porthcawl, overlooking the water. Right, little 2-bedroom apartment, no garden, so no maintenance. Right, literally, he is about zero maintenance, zero stress.
He's got a dog?
No.
Okay.
Looks after his son's dog now and again. Right, but literally. And he goes away 4 times a year, Portugal, here, there, and everywhere. And when you speak to him, like, don't you miss it? So it is a watermark on my life. He keeps himself busy doing other bits and bobs, and he's massive into his watches, and so he's reapplied that kind of mindset into other things.
Find something else.
But I think it's because he absolutely every day he lived and loved it. Yeah. That when he'd already made his mind up that was the day he was going to say goodbye. He was at peace with it. But I think sometimes people leave before they're ready. And they feel like they've underachieved or whatever, and it rattles them.
I think my goal is I'm going to put another 3 to 5 years in this, and after that, then I'm massively backing off. I'm going to be doing 3 days a week, but I'm going to be putting more time into my own sort of like hobbies and personal stuff and stuff I want to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, enjoy.
I think you have to redirect the energy.
Yeah,
otherwise,
I still feel every day I get up, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I still feel like full of energy, full of excitement.
On your food diet.
I don't see this job as a job. I see it as like it's become a way of life in a way. Yeah, but some of it's a bit of a hobby because I've built up quite a bit of rapport with some of my customers as friends and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes I'll just go up to a job. Sometimes when I'm there, I do something. But it's my case. Oh, we're going out tonight. Yeah, we'll go out. Yeah. It's because I work all over the country. It's become a great sort of social sort of to life really.
Network, yeah. What about you? I mean, you're like I say, you're in your mid-20s, you're not thinking about retiring, but when do you start thinking about what's next?
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. Because I think we spoke about it. I can't remember when it was, but I got that thing. I need to achieve something.
Yeah. You're terrible at not doing something. Like, you have to be doing something.
Like retirement's not an option until I achieve
goals.
But I haven't really got set goals.
Yeah.
But I need to achieve something good, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Until that happens, I don't know.
If I could say anything, I'll come to the end of this podcast. If I can say anything, as I'm getting older now and still around, unfortunately, there's a lot of people not, younger than me and not here. Unfortunately, I've lost quite a few friends over the years and customers, in their 40s, 50s. And you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the immaterial items, houses, cars, whatever, but if you haven't got health, you've got nothing. You've got none of that. And looking after yourself and keeping healthy and keeping positive and keeping happy is more important to me now than money, really.
Yeah, I'm not just saying as in when I achieve something. I'm not saying loads of money, just something.
Just be happy. I've got quite a few customers who are multimillionaires, and they all want to do something, put something back into society. They want to help people and stuff. They can have whatever they want, and they're not happy. But when they see me doing the most basic thing of putting trunking up or whatever, or cable, says you've got skills that I can't do. It's amazing what when we watch you what you can do and stuff like that. But often being a pain in the arse sometimes. But they still ask me to come back and that. But it's you just seem so happy what you do. Sometimes it's not a problem. Me just thinking about picking up the paper, picking up something for the missus, like I forget and stuff, and I get ball ache for it.
No comment.
So you're probably there, yeah.
All the time. Oh, can you make sure you pick up? Yeah. No, I'll definitely do that. And today will be the day I don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Did you pick up? Oh shit!
So will AI replace post-it notes?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I need to sort. At the minute, my missus is telling me things. I generally think I listen to
you banked it,
yeah,
and it's not there anymore.
Well, I'm like, you never told me. Yeah, I did. No, you didn't. So whether I'm thinking about other things when she's talking, I'm just not even listening to it.
Jim, I'm telling you, because I thought it was just me. Honest to God, she has me thinking like I am the worst husband in the world at the time, and then. I happen to agree with her because she didn't ask a lot. I had one job.
Doesn't your missus go to your phone? Remember the washing, remember the shopping, and these things start coming up on your phone like, oh, I've got to get that.
It's like, oh, we're doing this. You didn't tell me, yeah, I did. And
honestly, it happened.
Forgetfulness gets worse as you get older.
But do you know what? It's not even forgetfulness. I think it's because they're telling you, and as they're telling you, you're thinking, yeah, okay, but you haven't banked it at a time because something else has gone through your brain.
It's exactly, because I'm thinking about other things. I know sometimes I click to it. She's talking to me, and I'm thinking about, oh, sorry, like. Yeah.
Right. If I'm right, Will.
I bet you at the time you got your phone in your hand. Because that's what happens to me.
Being a happy married man.
I'm happy. I'm not sure about her.
Two things that you never forget in that marriage. When you got married.
Yeah.
And her birthday.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Both cost me a fortune. That's what.
Yeah. Those are two dates you do not forget.
Cash flow budget.
Yeah. You can forget
the forecast.
The Valentine's and the Christmas thing, that you got plenty of notice there, so you got to do it. But the two things you do not get notified about is how long you've been married, when you got married, and her birthday.
Yeah, to be fair, the when we got married thing and all that, I'm better at that than she is.
Yeah. So many times I've had ball ache over like girlfriends, like I forgot the birthday because they've never told me once. And then there's so much because with the trade and what you're doing and different things and all that, life goes on.
I think it's because men don't really we don't
keep a diary. We don't
see it as like a big thing, but they see it as like quite.
But women keep like diaries and stuff like that.
Really handy. It's her birthday the day before Jay's.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I remembered it being the day before Jay's, and now I remember Jay's because it's the day after Katie's.
It's like my which you'll probably see a bit more of it lately. My youngest niece, I got into the trade and she's just qualified. She's just doing AM2. She's 21, 22, something. She was my apprentice at first, but with COVID and things changed. And I think you really need for a private company, really. She's done that, and I'm hoping she'll start coming on board a bit more in the next year or two.
There you go.
If she goes self-employed and stuff like that. She's a lovely young lady. Holly, you might have seen her before on the trade, on some of my things and that. But her birthday is a day after mine, so mine's the 7th of December, and hers is the 8th. So I get a little exclamation mark sometimes, like on the 7th. Don't forget.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
But amazing, thank you. It's been so.
Oh no, thanks for coming down again. And this one looks like I'm not, not holding my breath, but audio looks good.
Any
visual looks good.
At
the moment we look good. We look good. So Jim, anything from you?
My brain's a bit like, I feel like we've covered quite.
Well, guys, I think this could be CPD accredited.
I think we covered quite a few topics.
Especially for people going out on their own.
Guys, you know what, actually, all jokes aside, so some of you might know, my old man, who's had his own accountancy practice for like 40 odd years, he's our FD here at Navitas, is a qualified accountant, obviously. if you guys would like to do like a bit of a Q&A, maybe like a short form video on Talk Up that we can do if electricians
really
have questions on, you know, going out on themselves or go by themselves or going limited or going sole trade or how they, if you want us to do a show on that, why don't, or like I say, like a 10-15 minute segment, send us an email. It's podcast@talkup.co.uk with your questions, this, that, and the other. If we can build up sort of 10-15 questions, I'll get him on. We can grill him for 15-20 minutes on some really boring accountancy stuff. But if you guys think it'll be useful and helpful, or you can just throw it in ChatGPT, I suppose.
But that is the biggest thing to being sole trader or somebody starting out is the accounting side of the business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tax side, what am I paying? How does something this? It is the biggest thing. You know?
And on that note, then, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget, if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe. It is going to be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you get audio as well. Thanks again to the guys at Weeha. Remembering they do everything you need as an electrician, and they will be at most of the Elec shows. So get in touch with them guys there as well. Don't know if you know, stuff's actually made in Germany. So I'm trying to vie for a little bit of a trip. Not going to lie. So Steve, Laura, if you're listening, you know, me and Jimbo really need to do an inspection of our sponsors' factory. That'd be awesome. Right, and JB, thank you very much
for having
Jimbo,
me.
as always,
Jimbo.
thank you very much. And until next time, guys, the joy is in the journey, so take care.